In our daily living, we come across and we engage in so many numerous situations where at each situation we have a specific reaction, how we deal with it. And the reaction or the way that we deal with that moment is based upon the nature that you and me possess. As an example, there would be a situation where you are being irritated by your child, some of the act that your child did. You cannot bear it, so you are shouting at the child. And at the same moment, your husband or your wife who is at house would say, "Why are you shouting at the child? He just did something. He's small. He cannot understand it. Why you are shouting at that child?" So, there are two ways you and your husband or wife would react, and you would see at that moment, at situation, at the behavior in a different way. And it is based upon your nature. Upon your nature. How you would accept that situation. And acceptance of that situation or dealing with that situation would always give you something to live up to. And there would be times the reaction that you would give into that moment would turn that moment from bad ways to good ways. But there are more times where our nature would change the situation from bad to worse. From bad to worse. That would always depend on how we would bear that up. How we would deal with the people or with the moment that has arrived before me. The nature. All of us have different natures, all of us. As I told you before, the thing that you would deal in a way in some moment would not be the way that the other would deal with it. Would be not the way that the other would see it. Not the way that you saw it, but the other would see it in a different way. So always our nature would build upon the situation. Upon the situation. Therefore, hope is always enabling us to build inner nature, to build our nature. Hope always enable you to build your nature. Hope always allow you to shine your nature. It can shine your nature, or else it can take away the value of the nature you have as well. So there was this story where Hannah, she was the mother of Samuel, the first prophet that the Lord anointed, Hannah. So Elkanah was the husband of Hannah, and Elkanah had two wives, Peninnah and Hannah, where Peninnah has children but not Hannah. It is said in the word, Hannah very much, it will say in the word, the Lord had kept her from having children. So she had no opportunity to beget children, so she had no children, where Peninnah had children. So what happened? Peninnah, she kept teasing Hannah. She kept ignoring Hannah. She always looked down upon Hannah because she was a childless, barren woman. So there was no any place, no any value to a barren woman. She was discarded, always discarded. If you be in this situation, how would you react? What would be your nature? You and me, both of us, we surely would do something against Peninnah. I would have grudge and hatred within me towards Peninnah. And not only that, I would organize or I would look something to hurt Hannah, to hurt Peninnah. So I would hurt her children, and I would hurting the children and making that sad in the life of Peninnah. I would enjoy my life. Yes, we would react and we would have dealt in that situation in that manner with the nature we have. But Hannah was different. Hannah was different. She was in a place where she had lost the hope, where she has no children, but still it says she went into the palace, she went into the temple of the Lord, and she prayed there. She prayed over and over there. And even she said to the Lord, "Don't forget me. Almighty Lord, look at me, your servant, see my trouble and remember me. Don't forget me. If you give me a son, I promise that I will dedicate him to you." Now, Hannah is making a pact with the Lord. If you give me a son, I will dedicate him to you. This is how Hannah dealt with the situation. Hannah never dealt with the situation with Peninnah. No, or with children of Peninnah. She did not retaliate to what Peninnah did to her, but still she went towards the Lord. She went towards the Lord and she kept her prayer in Him. That is the nature Hannah had. Hannah would make the situation from bad into worse by going towards Peninnah and having some trouble and having disputes and having some tussle with Peninnah. But instead of that, she went towards the Lord and she offered that prayer. And now, Hannah, who is hurt herself, will be rejected by the priest of the temple, Eli. Eli thought that Hannah is a mad woman who has come there and who has been drunk, and she has come there and that she's just spitting some words out. That is what Eli thought. But when Eli realized that Hannah is a genuine woman who is in a hopeless situation but still hoping something that the Lord will do, with her beautiful nature of calmness, of quietness, what happened? Eli says, "Go in peace, and may the God of Israel give you what you have asked him." That is the blessing Eli gave to her. Because of what? Because of the nature she possessed in her life. The nature she possessed in her life allowed her to go to the temple of the Lord, and there she met this priest. And even when Eli rejected her, she never pounced back on Eli, and she never left the temple cursing Eli. That was not her nature. She dealt with the situation with her humility, with her humbleness, and with a quiet nature. That is how she dealt. And that resulted her a blessing from the priest where she begat a child on that night. And it is said, then she went away, ate some food. So she did not eat anything because her heart was so worried and so heavy with the words of Peninnah. So she never ate anything. And it says she ate some food and was no longer sad because she received the blessing from the priest. Why did she receive the blessing? Because she dealt in such a way that her nature was was being blessed by the Lord when she recognized the situation correctly. That is what happened to her. That is what happened to her. So always hopeless situations will recommend our nature. So what is the nature in you that you are dealing with it? And it will always result the future of your life. The future of Hannah resulted, her nature was based upon her nature. And the result came out of that hopeless situation into a hopeful situation. The way she dealt with the situation. Today, we have so much of moments that we have turned ourselves from bad to worse because we have no way, we have not known the way how to deal with the situations, because we have a wrongful image, we have a wrongful nature that we are always dealing with. We have this hate, grudge, jealousy. That is the nature in us. So always hope will change you. Hope will change your nature if only you know how to deal with the situation. If you do not know how to deal with the situation, hopeful situation will turn into hopeless situation. The Lord will turn hopeless situations into hopeful situation. But if you do not know how to engage with that moment, because you have not recognized the true nature of yours, what will happen? You will never ever have a hopeful moment in your life. Thereby, as Hannah lifted up that prayer to the Lord, with her beautiful nature, calmfulness nature, we always should have a calmful nature, a calm nature in us, where we can rest ourselves, where we can just keep ourselves shut for a moment and reflect upon the moment before we act. We act before we reflect the situation. And after our action, after we have wrongful results, then we are trying to reflect upon it. But we are too late. We cannot change it. We cannot change it anymore. So what should happen? You first rest. You first keep yourself shut. Be quiet and calm yourselves down and think of the situation as Hannah did. And then you can make the right choices. And the nature of yours will allow you to fill that situation. Let us pray for that.